Hello, ABG is back, and today we are bringing you a preview for a expansion. This is for 13 monsters, Armed to the Teeth. So before we actually go into talking about the expansion itself, let's tell you about the main game, 13 Monsters, just in case you haven't heard of this game. So 13 Monster is a memory-based set collection game where you are trying to collect monster sets to actually make into monsters so that you can actually battle and win battles. The game has two ways of ending: when all the tiles have been flipped open and all the monsters parts have been acquired by players. In that case, you actually compete on which player has the highest health point or HP, and the one with the most win. So each monster that you actually so-called have, there are 4 kinds of monster. The first is a grunt. A grunt is actually made out of 3 monster parts. So a monster has the top, the middle, and the bottom portion. So if you have all 3 different parts, you create a grunt. If you have 2 of the same monster and 1 different, you actually have a abomination. If you have all 3 being the same, that will be a monster OG. And if you have the unique 13 monster, that is just known as the 13 monster itself. So that will actually give you different health points. There's another way to win, and that is to become the elemental master. So being an elemental master means you actually have 4 different element monsters, and when you have that, you actually win the game. So now let's talk a bit about 13 monsters Armed to the Teeth. So 13 monsters Armed to the Teeth, the expansion, this actually gives you a different way to kind of play the game. The main game is still the same, where you actually form monsters, fight with each other, roll dice. However, now with Armed to the Teeth, there is a new introduction of a new character, and this is called Trall. So for Trall, the key mechanics that Trall comes in is, as long as you actually form up a monster set, whether is it through flipping and you match a monster set, or you actually manage to acquire a monster set from other player, you get Trall on your side. So when you actually get Trall on your side, you get to roll 5 dice, and this is what we call the Armed to the Teeth dice. So when you roll these 5 dice, depending on the amount of end views you actually have, you actually forge different items. You could forge armors for your existing monster, you could forge weapons and shields, or you can actually form another kind of monster called Metal Monster. So all 3 actually come in and play a different part to the game. Okay, personally, for expansions in ABG, we would like to rank them in a triangle 3-prong approach: compatibility, improvement, and value to the game. So talking about compatibility, when you actually add the expansions to the main game, to be honest, because we only first played the main game when we actually have the expansion, but we actually didn't play the expansion one first because we wanted to understand how the main game worked. And to be honest, when the main game where we played, it feels a bit like that there is a lot of memory element and you actually then fight monsters. The expansion actually adds a lot to the main game. So in terms of compatibility now, in the past where you have elements in the main game, the elements actually only determine how many rolls you get. And of course, if you have 4 different monsters of different element, monster OG, you actually win the game by being an elemental master. However, now in the expansion, elements actually do play another part, because the amount of weapon and shield that you actually get, so all of them actually have an element itself for weapons and shield. So when you actually get these items, you can actually use certain effects of the shield and weapon that you have to acquire elements that are kind of weaker than your weapon, and you can actually acquire it giving up your weapon, and you get the monster set even without fighting. Because in the past, the only way you can actually acquire monster sets is through matching in the game, in the tabletop itself, or you actually win fighting other monsters. Now also, other than the fact that you go into a fight directly, you actually have to disarm the monsters, because now monsters actually come with shields. So there is 3 different parts of a shield. So when we talk about shield, it actually has 3 components, just like the past where you have top, the middle, and the bottom portion. Shields also come with that, and with that there are different ways that you can actually defend yourself, because when you want to engage fighting a monster who has a shield, you have to roll the Arm to the Teeth dice, and with that there are swords and shield within this dice. And if you didn't manage to disarm the other monster, you actually have to give up the attacking phase because you can't attack anymore. So to us, the compatibility is immense. The improvement is there definitely. The value of the game will actually suffer a little bit because the main game itself, from what we understand, the MSRP is somewhere like 29.95 euros, and the expansion itself is 24.95 euros. So it's kind of, you're paying for almost the price of the base game for the expansion. However, if you were to get 13 monsters and you haven't gotten the game yet, consider getting them together, because together you actually have a solid game that has a good gameplay. The expansion really adds so much to the main game. It's no longer just flipping and attacking and using some effects that the monster can bring you, but now you actually have other aspects of the game that you look forward to. Yeah. In the past, when you actually roll dice, for those of you who have known the main game, the die roll, you only pick up numbers that are actually big because you want to have that as your attacking score, so to speak. However, now when you have meta monsters, remaining dice, if you actually have a abomination meta monster or a full meta monster OG, your remaining die roll actually can be added into the main die that you have kept. So that actually changes how the die roll works. So to me, the game is really impressive together with the expansion. Personally, if I were to choose, and if I were to look at the base game itself, I probably wouldn't buy the game. But if I look at them as a package, and if let's say the publisher actually look to sell them as kind of a new edition or a enhanced edition or essential edition where you put two of them together with the main game and the expansion, this becomes a really solid game. So if you like videos like this, please do comment below. We would like to bring more of this to you, and obviously these are games from Netherlands. The 13 monster expansion Arm to the Teeth is coming out on Kickstarter later on in September. So do check it out when it's out on Kickstarter. I'm not sure if they will to give you an option to buy both together, but if you had an option, please do get them together. This is Seb here from Amateur Board Gamer, and please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. Especially subscribe, the button is on the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Do click on the notification bell so you get our videos as soon as they are out. We are approaching 300 subscribers and we are actually looking to do a giveaway when we hit that milestone. So more videos of ours are at the site, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.